good? What's good? Everybody share the video. WCS on deck. What's good? What's good? Everybody share the video. WCS on deck. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're listening to World Combat Sports. What's good? Give me a minute to get everything lined up, and we're going to talk about some boxing. What's good, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're listening to World Combat Sports. Hey, it's another boxing episode, Catchweight 734. And today, you know what it is. I have to address. Matter of fact, let me drop this in there. Ace Boogie in the building. Salute to you. Appreciate you stopping through. Everybody else that's in the building had a little situation or whatever. I came on and then somehow lost power. But anyway, this is what it is, man. I want to first speak on the former heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder and how I believe that he can come back in here and defeat Tyson Fury. And he is the best heavyweight champion out there, even with the loss on this record. And some people get entirely upset when certain media address, Deontay Wilder and what he's been able to do in the sport of boxing. Listen, y'all, it's a unique situation on how he was able to, rise through the ranks from the Olympics all the way up to the professional level and defeat Bermane Stiverne and go on the reign as long as he did. You have to respect the grind for which he did, the grind for which he took to get in the trenches and work himself up, get the title shot, win the title, and then go on to defend it. But with boxing politics, man, you know what it is. It's all about money. It gets to a point where people start to plot. You know what I'm saying? People start to plot, and finesse the situation, come up with all these plans. And people act like boxing is not capable of being corrupt and planning things pretentiously. And it's highly possible. It's not that we're delusional. It's not that, whenever someone supports Deontay Wilder, they're fanboys. That's not the fact at all. The fact is what he was able to do, for which some of you all consider a lack of boxing fundamentals. This man was able to go out here and make it happen. So therefore, when I'm looking at the entire process of his career and him heading back in the trilogy, I like his odds. I never basically devalued his odds because he wasn't 100% when he was in there the second time. I always said on my live, he lost the fight. Absolutely. Deontay lost the fight. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He absolutely lost the fight. That's not in question. Tyson Fury didn't knock him out. The fight was stopped from, a towel being tossed in the ring. But when it comes down to sheer athletic ability, when it comes down to a person that was blessed with a freak of nature, with the frame of a basketball player, to come over here and compete in the heavyweight division and look and compete a weight that's basically seriously outside the cruiserweight and still go in there and knock dudes out. It was a highlight reel of the heavyweight division. That's what we've been looking forward to. But I'm finding out, I dropped the link in there because, people send you emails and everything, they get hurt. You know what I'm saying? I don't go over to other people's channel to basically disrupt people's lives. But I understand we have some sensitive, people that have these hemorrhoidal emotions. You know what I'm saying? It's hemorrhoidal. It's not even, look, hemorrhoidal is not even a word, but they have people that they get inflamed like hemorrhoids. And they want to go out here and say all these things. But yet, if they feel like they got the best of a debate or argument, then they go out here and do the exact same thing. Oh, so-and-so got bodied. Oh, they so-and-so did this. That's what type of environment we live in. It's hilarious. But for those who are out there that's willing to show their face, I have no problem with you stepping in and pushing that link. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about whatever you choose to talk about. Because to me, the people that's arguing about, whenever the topic is Deontay Wilder, they have a limited depth for which they're able to debate. It's limited. It's shallow waters, man. You gotta go out where it's deep enough where you gotta change the equipment up. You gotta breathe different. You gotta know how to swim. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all are like walking off the shoreline and shit, getting your feet wet, and then stand over there where it's nice and stable on the ground. No, you got to go somewhere where it's not stable. So I had some people, hit me on the email, and man, they got all upset just because of the debate I had with individuals from somewhere else. And I'm like, damn, I don't even go on there and people shit in debate. We got grown ass man that's just upset and angry. And that's why Deontay Wilder is the best heavyweight fighter in the division, period. Because the energy when it comes to talking about what Deontay Wilder was able to do and what he's gonna do once he returned to the ring, it pisses people off, y'all. It pisses them off because they know deep down in their side, Wilder has the potential to knock out anybody that's competing in the heavyweight division right now. Anybody. He's did it. The ones that haven't been knocked out by Wilder is the ones that won't fight him. Anthony Joshua refused to fight him. The biggest ducker in the heavyweight division. I can't say Tyson Fury is the biggest ducker in the heavyweight division because he chose to come over here to the US and fight the champ twice already. You know what I'm saying? I can't say Luis Ortiz because he fought the champ twice after getting knocked out the first time. Bermane Stiverne fought the champ twice. Demolished in the second fight. Demolished. Dominique Brazil, with all the discontent and personal shit that went on in the media with Deontay Wilder and Dominique Brazil, he even stepped in there in the Barclays and got shut down. It reminded me of the fight that Sugar Ray Robinson was in. This man said, I'm the real Sugar Ray. He said, no, let's touch gloves because this is the only time it's going to happen. He went in there and closed that man out in 2 minutes and 18, 19 seconds. That's 3 seconds faster than Deontay Wilder closed out Dominique Brazil. And the reason why I compare those, because Dominique Brazil say, listen, I think I got a right hand too. Dominique Brazil say, I think I got a right hand too, y'all. And I'm saying to myself, Dominique Brazil is trying to compare his right hand to Deontay Wilder's right hand. But not only do Wilder has a right hand, he has a chin too. What's going on? Andrew Charles in the building, man. Deacon 305, man. What's good, OG? How you feel, man? Salute, fam. I'm working, can't comment, but I'm listening. Hey, that's what it is, man. Your support is appreciated, no doubt. Adrian says Wilder is the #1 heavyweight. He could beat Flabby Fury any day, any time. I hear you, Adrian. Deontay Wilder is the #1 heavyweight out there. He could beat Flabby Fury anytime. You know what I'm saying? Ace Boogie in the building. Salute to you. Fury had a weight loss camp, 2 tune-up fights, and full training camp before he fought Wilder the first time. Stop the shit. I feel you. Shout out to Ace Boogie, man. Anthony said, what's up, brother? Yeah, I'm the same one, man. I'm the same one. How can he duck White when White was ordered not once but twice to fight a title eliminator? Hey, Dillian White is one of those guys who was placed in the middle. Unfortunately for Dillian White, what a lot of people may not know, when he first stepped in there with Anthony Joshua, you have to work the timeline. If you want me to do a share screen, I can do a share screen and show you where people get it all wrong with Dillian White. You know what I'm saying? They get it all wrong with Dillian White, man, when it comes to Anthony Joshua. I can do a share screen for you if you want. For real. And some people have it all wrong about when Dillian White faced Anthony Joshua. Let me share this screen right quick, because it's just too many of y'all out here just upset and angry, dropping me freaking messages when you should be, seeking a psychologist or somebody that can give you therapeutic exemptions from going into work so you can rest. It's not that serious, man. So check this out. Check this out, y'all. I'm gonna wait for it to come up here on YouTube, but I want y'all to see something. Now, I had a situation where someone was thinking that Dillian White had stepped in there with Anthony Joshua to face the fight for the titles. And I'm telling these individuals, Dillian White faced Anthony Joshua when he was on his way to face Charles Martin for the IBF title. Dillian White stepped in there with Anthony Joshua and was knocked out clean. He was undefeated. Anthony Joshua gave Dillian White his first loss. It wasn't for a world title, y'all. Look, I'm going to tell you, it was for the World Boxing Council International Heavyweight title. It was for the Commonwealth British Empire Heavyweight title. It was for the vacant BBOC, British Boxing Board of Control, British Heavyweight title. What are these people talking about as far as Dillian White winning there? He didn't fight for the title because Anthony Joshua didn't have any. Come on, world titles. He faced Charles Martin the following year in 2016, and he stopped him in 2 rounds. And that's because Charles Martin basically took a dive. I'm not afraid to say it. He did. He took a dive, man. Period. Say what you want. And for those of you that's over here, you know who you are, that's on a fake account, please, if you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Just come in on your regular account like everybody else I see over here, and then we're good. You don't have to come over here and talk about topics that we was talking about on somebody else's channel. If you want to debate it, please click the link and we can talk about it. It's all good. You don't have to come over here in a fake account. You don't have to. Don't be a coward. I like talking to people in front of the camera. Why? Because anybody can be a boxing historian and a thespian and whatever else you want to call, speaking with somebody behind the camera. There's a lot of people that can do that. But when you show your face, they know that you're not on the keyboard looking shit up. Yeah, Anthony Jones. Yeah, I'm the same person. Deacon 305 said to be too blessed to be stressed and highly favored family. Everything good with your champ. No doubt, Deacon 305. You know what it is, man. Appreciate you stopping through the live chat. Respect, man. White is just a pawn, a bodyguard for AJ, a little roadblock. Look, White has absolutely once again sabotaged himself. It's almost similar to Jarrell Miller. You know what I'm saying? Jarrell Miller was right at the doorstep from basically doing the same thing Andy Ruiz did. Possibly Jarrell Miller could have been the first one to defeat Anthony Joshua, but he popped positive. But Dillian White, per se, he's right there in the backyard of Anthony Joshua. And he tried his best to be in a position to pretend like he wanted to face Deontay Wilder, but we know the same thing would have happened. Deontay Wilder would have knocked Dillian White out in quicker fashion than Alexander Povetkin, in quicker fashion than Anthony Joshua, period. That is why Dillian White didn't really, he got, he was influenced by Eddie Hearn, and he wanted to get all hyped up and rejuvenated, behind the scenes and say, yeah, I want to go out here. Deontay, where you at? Let's go. He didn't want that smoke. Dillian White didn't want that smoke. He didn't even want to fight Luis Ortiz. He did not want the smoke, y'all. Man, stop boosting up these neighboring fighters like Dillian White and Anthony Joshua, man, until they actually step in there with the best competition. The best competition in the heavyweight division is Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. But the people globally don't want to see Tyson Fury face Anthony Joshua. Nuh-uh. It don't have the suspense that's got Deontay Wilder bring. It don't have that TNT. It don't. Because the history when Wilder was trying to negotiate back in 2018, and Anthony Joshua just beating around the bush, all wine, just going around and shit, trying to create and make it tough for Deontay Wilder to go into a fight. If you really want to fight somebody, why are you giving the man a flat fee? That's absolute bullshit. The man got to feed his family. He has more kids than Anthony Joshua. He started boxing because of his daughter. So therefore, they wanted to smoke, but Eddie Hearns and them with all the belts, they wanted to act like, no, let's make it difficult for him. Let's make him crawl. No. We got names for bullshit like that. When you try to make a motherfucker stressed out in one of the biggest fight that would have grossed millions, easily over 50, 60 million, if they would have fought for the undisputed. Easily, minimal 60 million they would have grossed if they would have fought for the undisputed titles. Deontay Wilder, believe it or not, with one loss is still the most feared heavyweight in the division. With one loss, he's the most feared because people are still scared of the power that he possessed if he returns to the ring 100%. They're still scared. It's too many highlights out there for you all to just put it in the back of your mind when you go to sleep, because you still dream about it. I agree, Ace Boogie. Dillian White never had a title shot. T. Jordan in the building, salute. You got people up here talking about Dillian White had a title shot. I'm like, when did he have a title shot? A world title shot? Anthony Joshua did not have a title until he stepped in there with Charles Martin. Some people just look at the Vladimir Klitschko fight and they believe that the Charles Martin fight came after the Klitschko fight. It did not. It did not come after the Charles Martin. The Charles Martin fight did not come after the Klitschko fight. People look at it that way because the Klitschko fight was in Wembley Stadium and it was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? He just scooped up Charles Martin. And then he went into that Wembley Stadium and fought Klitschko. Klitschko contributed to Joshua selling out. But who was at that fight? Deontay Wilder. So why all of a sudden people are acting like Deontay Wilder is not the best and the most feared heavyweight in the division still at 35 years old? Because if a man refused to fight, he refused to fight, and they up here talking about a 2-bout agreement. They busy up here over talking Deontay Wilder like he's not fighting. They doing anything. Look, people, listen, I hope you don't leave the sport of boxing from supporting it on what may happen in the upcoming months. But I'm going to tell you, if Suleiman has anything to do with it, they're going to do anything and everything so that Deontay Wilder don't step back in there and fight Tyson Fury. It's going to mess up filling their pockets with millions. Deontay Wilder goes and get his belt back. It shakes up everything. It forces Anthony Joshua to come back. Keep his belts. It forces him to go in here, defeat Kubrat Pulev, and come back to the scene of his stupidity. Now he has to face Deontay Wilder. And let's see what plan Eddie Hearns and him come up with. Let's see what the excuse is going to be. Because believe it or not, y'all, it's not going to be like, okay, Deontay Wilder get his belt back. Tyson Fury is going to go ahead and fight for the unified championship. It won't do any money. It's not going to do big money like that. It's not. It'd be a waste of fucking time. Because deep down in their soul, in the core, they want to see Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Deep down. Seriously. Deep down. I'm talking about deep. Every time you inhale, you want to see Wilder go over there. It'll be good for him to go over there. If he felt like he wasn't walking into booby traps along the way, because God damn it, it's going to be anything and everything over there. They'll probably say, Deontay Wilder tested positive for COVID when he didn't. They will come up there with anything and everything to try to stop that fight with Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. People who are putting their money on Tyson Fury in this trilogy, it's all because that's what they want, but they're not sure. They're just going off the rematch, but they're not sure because Deontay Wilder still possesses the hardest punch in the heavyweight division and in boxing, period. Period. Tyson Fury has an 85-inch reach. So why you have to cheat? You have an 85-inch reach, so why you have to cheat? You're 6'9" with an 85-inch reach, and you got to cheat? That tells me you're not confident in yourself. That tells me you're not confident in yourself. This is exactly what it looked like to me. It looked like it was no effort there by Martin. Yeah, I agree, man. You know, unfortunate for Martin, he's another tall fighter. He's built for the heavyweight division. But he's back now fighting because that check has ran out. It has expired. It's running low. It's on fumes right now. Even when he was fighting Andy Konoski, the commentators mentioned how he, potentially, allegedly took a dive against Joshua. They even mentioned, it's not just me. What's going on, D. Hodges? Salute, man. So Anthony Jones make a good point, right? He said, funny thing he called Ortiz old in his last few opponents 40 plus, which is absolutely true. You know, he's had some old opponents from Watch to freaking Alexander Povetkin. You know, Anthony Joshua and everybody else, when Deontay Wilder was fighting Luis Ortiz, they put on 10 or 15 damn years to the man's age. But guess what? It wasn't people in line to face Luis Ortiz. Very crafty southpaw, has the footwork of Larry Holmes. No one was lining up to face the old, antiquated Luis Ortiz, but Deontay Wilder was. But now, old, when it comes to old, Alexander Povetkin. The one thing that Dillian White, man, he's young enough to still get a shot sometime up the line of the heavyweight title. But the shit he was talking about Deontay Wilder and other people, I'm only talking about Deontay Wilder. You know, calling the man a coward, all the shit, laughing when Deontay Wilder came up short February 22nd. He was just online enjoying the motherfucking mic and the lens. Deontay, you look, Dillian White was just up here knowing it was his time to once again try to pour salt on the wound, man. A guy who is trying to be relevant in the heavyweight division, but know damn well he had problems if he ever would have faced Deontay Wilder. He would have had freaking problems, y'all. But what's even more crazy is that when you have a debate with Deontay Wilder, it brings out the hatred in people. That's how powerful this guy is. It brings out the hatred. They always want to bring race into it. They always want to bring race into it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had the nerve to talk about, well, Deontay Wilder. They want to compare Tyson Fury's drug cheating to Deontay Wilder fight Malik Scott. And I say that was the worst, the lowest form of comprehension when you're trying to compare apples to apples. That's the lowest form of comprehension. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you're talking about a drug cheat, both with recreational and performance-enhancing drugs, suspended, never defended the title, but you're talking about a guy over here, WBC title holder, who defended his title 10 successful times and in the company of greats to do it. But they want to say, oh, well, per the YouTube video, we're looking at Deontay Wilder allegedly gave Malik Scott a wink before he landed the shot and knocked him down. Man, come on now. Is that it? You want to go to, look, you want to believe a video on YouTube about Malik Scott, but yeah, you don't want to believe all the videos that's out here about the gloves and shit. You don't want to believe his corner freaking, and you know, cut off the camera and didn't want you to see what was going on in there. And people's like, well, you know what? They probably didn't want you to see the costume that he was putting on. What? Are you serious? So they cut the stream from the camera first and foremost. Which when have we ever seen that shit happen? First of all, somebody bring up some footage on when we've actually seen someone look face to face in the camera, stop the stream from providing an internal view to the locker room of Tyson Fury, of anybody. When have we seen that shit? I'm just curious, when have we seen that happen? And how does those individuals in Tyson Fury's corner, to include Sugar Hill, who said he was looking at TV when asked about it, he was looking at TV, Sugar Hill looking at TV on fight night, the biggest fight in heavyweight history of this era, one of the biggest fights, Fury Wilder, and Sugar Hill sits up there and say, I was looking at TV. Well, what about the glove, Sugar Hill? Well, the commission was back there. That's a guy right there that's basically telling you he ain't got to answer your questions. You beneath him. That's what Sugar Hill said. You know what I'm saying? That's the bullshit that I lost respect for Sugar Hill, because Sugar Hill, people don't understand. Freddie Roach was in Tyson Fury's corner the first fight when he was knocked out on his ass, and he was blessed with an extended count. Yeah. You trying to say Freddie Roach ain't a legend, but all of a sudden he go to a crunk? He goes over to Sugar Hill out of crunk gym, and automatically it's the crunk style? Man, get the fuck out of here with that. That shit ain't true. When does a person with a 67% KO ratio, a 65%, when does he become a knockout artist? If you have faced the Sefer Safaris, if you faced the Francisco Pianettas, and then stepped in there with Deontay Wilder, came up with a draw, but you was knocked out. You was dreaming. You was in the upper room in the 12th round. You was knocked down twice. Then you step in there with Tom Schwartz. And then you go over there and suffer a gash and a cut over your head, which, believe it or not, the fight should have been stopped. But no, check this out. They wanted Tyson Fury to get into the MGM Grand in February 22nd. Why? Because when it comes down to it, Deontay Wilder offered him the immediate rematch. Deontay Wilder offered this dude the immediate rematch. But he refused it because he wasn't ready, because Deontay Wilder's hand, that knockout was steel. Look, Deontay Wilder finished him that combination with a left hook. He hit him with the right and then the left, boom. Tyson Fury sunbathing under the lights. Jones said, notice how fast Ortiz was counted out, and notice how quick Deal Pickles was waved off, but Fury gets a 12 count. Hey, Fury, if people don't know, that cut the Otto Wallin put over his eye, it should have basically gave Fury his first loss. But Otto Wallin wasn't in the equation to be raised as the heavyweight champion. He would have messed up everything. So if you don't think the referees have an understanding what the orders is, you're sadly mistaken. The referees has the orders. They have the orders. You can look, I'm gonna tell you the people that can corrupt the whole situation when it comes to boxing: the judges and the referee, period, and the motherfucking doctor. No specific order. It depends on the situation. They can all fuck up a fight. They can all fix a fight. Now, if you check out my video, you can't say I'm capping. I'm sitting up here bloviating the point. I interviewed Jack Reese in Nashville, Tennessee, at the Caleb Plant Vincent Feigenbooth. I sat there face to face and told him, Jack, we used to be pretty decent. After that, he wasn't trying to say shit to me. But anyway, I told him face to face, look at the interview, man. I said I thought it was a long count. I felt it was a long count. I told Jack Reese to his face. No one can dispute it because the video is out there. I appreciate Jack giving me the interview. I appreciate it. But when it comes to media, Jack Reese, and the spotlight and the position that you hold in boxing, is certain questions you have to answer. Tyson Fury should have been waved off. Dillian White was knocked out on the bottom row. He was waved off. Elise Bermain-Stavern now. Come on, man. Elise Bermain-Stavern got up and performed the Drunken Master. At least he was groggled a little bit, but he couldn't continue. Dillian White knocked out. Boom, done, gone, over. Dominic Brazil knocked out. He gets up, stumbled back on the ropes. Referee called a fight because he was fucking hurt. He was smashed. Luis Ortiz. Much respect to King Kong. That last fight, I was up in the stands looking at the fight through my lens. My long range lens, y'all. Optic. And when Deontay hit King Kong with that right hand and the back spray of sweat came out Luis Ortiz's head, it looked like Ortiz's soul came out his body. I had to put the motherfucking camera down and look down at motherfuckers, be like, shit, you know, do we have another situation? Is Ortiz going to get up from this? Like that punch Deontay Wilder delivered when I was looking through the lens doing media shit, it looked like he crushed the soul out of freaking Ortiz. Real talk. And Tyson Fury is a heavyweight with punching power all of a sudden because he changed to Sugar Hill. No, not at all. No, hold up. What's going on, H Money? I don't know. Hold up. Why you don't have a wrench, man? I thought you had a wrench the other time. Now I got to see if that's the real one. Now I got to see if that's the real one. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to H Money, man. Mr. Zone in the building, salute. Shout out to Cono Loco Sports in the building. Hey, I'm sure Luis Ortiz hits harder than Fury, and Ortiz hit harder than Fury, and Ortiz couldn't knock out Wilder, but all of a sudden Fury could. That's all I'm saying, Cono Loco Sports, man. Luis Ortiz stunned Wilder in the 7th round for 41 straight seconds. Pop, 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 pop. Buzzed him up nice. Deontay Wilder showed with a basketball frame he has a chin. This is not fabricated. It was people up here cheering. Look, they was cheering for Deontay Wilder down to the ring. And when he got hurt, people was like, yeah, this is what we've been waiting for. Ding, ding. Oh, shit. God damn, Deontay Wilder made it to the bell. Fuck. I don't think Ortiz can recover. You know, I don't think, you know, the amount of punches that he put out, I don't think he has anything else. Now people was basically let down. The adrenaline dump happened. 7th round, 41 seconds. Deontay Wilder showed he has a chin. He demonstrated he had a chin when he was fighting Tyson Fury. Yes, he demonstrated that. Even not being 100%, Deontay Wilder demonstrated he has a chin. Why? Because he was never in a position for which we witnessed Tyson Fury in the 12th round. Never. Tyson Fury, from what I was told from Jack Reese, let me back the fuck up. Jack Reese told me the reason why he did not count Tyson Fury out is because his left leg was up and his foot was resting on the ground. That means mechanically his cognizant level was just enough for him to hold that leg up and he wasn't totally knocked out. Now, if you asking me if that's some of the most absurd assessment I ever heard, I can't say that's the most absurd. But when it comes down to him saying, okay, you're not looking at his eyes in the back of his head. You're not looking at his mouth open. You're not looking at the man just laying there with his eyes closed, you know, when he was trying to, you know, remember what planet he was on. But the way that you're going to say, I gave Tyson Fury the opportunity for the spirit. Jack Reese said for the spirit of the sport, y'all. Jack Reese said for the spirit of the sport. Jack Reese said for the spirit of the sport. What the fuck is the spirit of the sport? Motherfucker was knocked the fuck out. Deontay Wilder's just going out saying what's up to the people. I told you. And then, Jack Reese is on his knees, people. He's goddamn trying to raise Tyson Fury up. Get up. Get up. You are hope. Get up. He gave him every freaking opportunity when the man was knocked the fuck out, y'all. Digger 305 said, looking like I had 3D television. God damn. I'm telling you, man, Deontay can do that. Man, he's that type of puncher, man. Seriously. Ortiz was about to get up, but they didn't want him to upset the equation either. Hey, Ortiz could have got up. It wasn't like, look, okay, if you're talking about the second fight, he was hurt. Look, Ortiz was fucking hurt. And once again, that's the second time he's been in there with a heavy puncher like Deontay. You know what I'm saying? We've seen the situations in boxing where certain people may look okay, but internally they may not. And to get hit in two different fights by Deontay Wilder, and the way Luis Ortiz hit the deck, y'all, he wasn't okay. It's a difference between seeing the fight in person and looking at it on TV. I'm being honest, man. I'm being honest. Ortiz was fucking hurt. Dominic Breazeale was hurt. 85-inch reach, why you got to cheat? Punched the ghost out his head. Man, you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. The back spray looks like something out of the movie Ghost. Like you actually felt, you actually seemed like his soul was goddamn leaving. I say, oh shit. I had to goddamn really get a real-time view. I was like, shit, is Ortiz going to make it up? Like, is he okay? Jack said it. I'm not making it up. Look at the interview, man. Jack told me that. He did it for the spirit. And so he even said it when the post-fight interview. So when I asked him, I say, so what's the spirit of the sport? And he kind of gave me an answer like, giving him an opportunity. Look, Jack Reese's response was somewhat like, give Tyson Fury the opportunity to get up and fight on, knowing that he's been in enough fights where he should have called that fight. But they couldn't give it to Wilder. Wilder would have knocked out Fury, then it would have been a clean shot to Joshua's freaking front door. I don't care how Fury looked when he got up. You can say it was the gypsies. You can say whatever it was. But in that moment, in the 12th round, you cannot compare that round to the situation of controversy when it comes to Tyson Fury on February 22nd. You cannot compare the two. You cannot compare the two. Deontay Wilder knocked Tyson Fury ass out. February 22nd, he knocked down a Deontay Wilder that wasn't 100%. We know this. And there's plenty of slideshows out here that validate something was a little strange and eccentric about the way his gloves was on. I know there's a lot of people that just don't want to digest that salt tablet. But God damn it, chase it down with something. Because the man is a known cheater. Period. A man is a known cheater. Period. Deontay Wilder goes in here and knock out or even go the distance with Tyson Fury. What is the narrative going to be now? It's a trilogy. Wilder goes back in there and get his belt. What is going to be the scenario now? Oh, Fury, he just couldn't, with all the stress and all the false accusations, pitted against him, he just wasn't the same person. It was too much for him to go back in there and perform correctly. We're gonna do a crowdfunding for Tyson Fury. It was just a tragedy. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do a crowdfunding, for Tyson Fury so we can raise money to give Step Aside. We're gonna raise enough monies. Hopefully, we can get Tyson Fury back in the ring for a fourth fight. And you know what? Just keep Joshua over there, fighting his mandatories and staying clear away from freaking Deontay Wilder. Because we all know that one of the most well put together wet styrofoam chins in the sport of boxing, packed with wet confetti, just a level above Amir Khan, is Anthony Joshua's chin. Period. Exterior styrofoam, internal packing, wet confetti. That is Anthony Joshua's chin. We all know that Wilder will knock Anthony Joshua the fuck out. And Jones say, so a white man can win, period. Why do they call him two-time champ when he was juiced to the max versus Klitschko? That's a good point, man. Why do they consider to give that? Why? Why do they? And JC, you could say he was clean. That's something I can't dispute because a test didn't come back. That's not even a situation for me to even talk on. But all I know is 85-inch reach. Why you want to cheat? You 6'9" with an 85-inch reach. Why the fuck you gotta cheat, dog? Why? Because you're scared. You know what happened the first fight. You know why you took the Schwartz and Wallin fight. You knew why you went over to the World Wrestling Entertainment. You knew jumping off the ropes, fighting Braun Strowman and all that other bullshit. You was trying to come up with a plan. You and the WBC. The gloves you're using and everything else is considered an illegal glove. The WBC is partners with the same brand of the gloves that Tyson Fury used. So who you think is trying to win? They trying to get Tyson Fury to win, y'all. Talk to him, Dundada. Temporaries, man. Temporaries. The real hardcore fans know what it is. He wasn't clean. He was eating wild boar meat, man. Look, a lot of people, another point that came up in that situation, the debate that I was in, right? They try to eliminate Mr. Carefoot as basically consigning to just give it all up and say he was lying. That's not the case. We all know back from the mob days, and we all know from the political experiences that go on today, that certain individuals, if they come out like Mr. Carefoot did and speak of a situation that's very damning, okay? He comes up and a lot of people are investing money for Tyson Fury right now. So this guy's coming up with a legitimate accusation that they force him to lie and they promise him a monetary stipend for him to say, yeah, he served as uncastrated wild boar. Now, when he came out, it made headlines like no other. But guess what? The reason why I didn't really want to debate this shit, because yeah, he did come back and capitulate. He had no other reason but to. He had no other alternative but to, because he was receiving threats. He had to go back into seclusion because he was receiving threats. But why would this guy come out for something that happened back in 2015 and say, yeah, they lied? I never had a boar on my property. I never had a wild boar on my property. But that is a scenario that you want to debate against. That the guy said, you know what, it never happened. No, that's not what it was. He was catching that negative, that super dangerous, threatening energy from whoever. Because the gypsies can get nasty now. They can show up at your doorstep like anybody. But that's what happened with that. The guy didn't have a choice. I'm not worrying about, somebody over here for the first time. Appreciate you stopping through, though. Appreciate you stopping too. I read your comment. He said the number one heavyweight is Deontay Wilder. Appreciate. Thank you for confirming with me. The number one heavyweight is Deontay Wilder. Thank you for agreeing with what I put out there. Appreciate that. Don Dollar said Fury is a cheat. That's what it is. You have all these people that's showing up under these accounts. And look, I put the link out there. Look, check this out. Check this out. When you provide people the opportunity, sporting advantage in the building, salute to you. What's good? Denise the Queen in the building. How you feel today? What's good? Appreciate the wrench game. Always sniper qualified. Shout out to the wrench game. Deacon 305 say it's some clowns done came into the chat. It's getting too funky in here. 305, when you speaking about certain individuals in boxing that has a tremendous influence on history, they're going to come out. But they're not going to get on here. They're not going to get on here and talk about it. They're not going to get on here and talk about certain layers of why they want to sit up here and defend Tyson Fury and ducking ass Anthony Joshua. We don't have to sit up here and talk about Dillian White no more. That's over and done with. Alexander Povetkin exposed Dillian White for who he truly is. How can you lapse in memory on the biggest fight to put you in a position to face Tyson Fury and you get knocked out by an older 40-year-old Alexander Povetkin? How can you have a lapse in memory, Dillian White? How can you expect us over here in the U.S. to support you a little bit when you're having lapse in judgment and you get caught with a left uppercut? And then you go on camera and say, it's not like he was, beating me down every round. You was in the 5th round, for God's sake. And then you was talking shit about Deontay Wilder forever and a day. You got what's coming, man. Robert said Fury will be banned soon, man. As I hear on other channels, I can't take credit for this, but Fury, complexion for the protection. It's a big plot that's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's people that are plotting. You know what I'm saying? The whole now, this guy a fraud and a career cheater. When people hear fraud and career cheat, they get butthurt. You know what I'm saying? They get butthurt about shit. Fury was out of the sport doing cocaine, man. Him and his cousin Hughie. What more evidence do you need, Shock? If Deontay Wilder would have been out the sport on cocaine, they would have called a man a crackhead every time his name came up. They wouldn't say, oh, Deontay Wilder, let's welcome him back. You know what I'm saying? Let's welcome him back. Hold on for a second. Hey, give me 1 minute. Give me a. Yeah, I'm back, people. My bad. My apologies. Denise Ward said, D Hodges, good evening. Your boy Your boy got battered and bruised. Look, Deontay Wilder, in the art of war, people, you have to understand, in the art of war, there are going to be injuries. There's going to be punishment. So if you're going to talk about the heaviest division in the sport, where you have a huge, significant weight disparity between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, it's going to come a point in time where you're going to suffer some punishment. That's not the first fight Deontay Wilder's been in that he's had a swollen eye, a fat lip. It's boxing. So for the temporaries out there, if you're going to support the sport of boxing, understand that it's going to be some punishment. It's going to be some 10-ounce gloves. It's going to be some shit that's going on in sparring. It's going to be something that takes these people to a level that they can walk through the eye of the storm when it comes time. You can't go into sparring and have light sparring and expect to get through what Deontay Wilder was getting through. He wasn't himself that night. AJ is fighting his mandatories, unlike Wilder. Hey, say what you want. Do your research. Do your research. If the only mandatory you're talking about, this never was a mandatory, you're talking about Dillian White? Come on, man. Do better. Do better. And you know what? What's bad? Like some of you fuck boys will come in under a lady's name, but you won't click on the link under your true profile. You know what I'm saying? That's like fuck boyism. You know what I'm saying? You need to be better. All you got to do is come in on your true profile. You're not blocked. You don't have to come over here and you a man and you come over on a female profile or a ghost account. You don't have to do that. You have an open invitation. And plus, it's getting close to the end of the year, you know, next to the elections and year round. Come over here and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Sport division, except he lost to someone in Wilder's stable. But yes, AJ is a quality fighter. Never said AJ wasn't a quality fighter. My words was AJ is overrated. AJ is one of the biggest duckers in boxing. True words. You're one of the biggest duckers when you want a heavyweight to come in at a flat fee. Sport advantage, you cannot sit up here and validate the BS. You cannot sit up here and make excuses that all of a sudden you're giving other fighters percentages, but yet Deontay Wilder gets a flat fee. Why? Why isn't he, you know, he's a current reigning champion at the time and he want to fight for the undisputed and you don't have enough cojones to say, Eddie Hearns, let's be fair. Let's give him a freaking percentage. Let's go. Fury had to sell for a match. Well, JC, it's not excuses. It's not excuses. It's what actually happened. It's not excuses. If you are advocating for Tyson Fury, advocate with something that basically validates or goes against what I'm saying. Credible evidence. Just don't say the same cadence over and over again. I heard it. Well, if you sit up here and say that people doing, you don't even hear me using fanboys. It's certain language you are not going to find that I use. I don't use dick riders. I don't use the fanboys. But I will get in somebody's ass for saying everybody who support Wilder is a fanboy. You have more people that'll get butthurt when it comes to us supporting Wilder, and we're all of a sudden fanboys. But yet and still, when Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz, all we saw is people in seclusion. Everybody was silent. You would think it was a freaking night of Halloween. And you had some real motherfucking ghosts and monsters out that bitch. Motherfuckers was just like disabling their account. Deactivation. Man, you got to come with something different. You got to be better, man. Denise Ward, salute to you. Real talk. Condolences to John Thompson and Cliff Robinson. Real talk. Salute and rest in heaven. Both of them. Appreciate that, Wrench Gang. Appreciate that. But hey, check this out. I appreciate everybody for stopping through. This ain't over. I have to go over to H Money's channel, man, because he want me to collaborate with an interview with one of these young rising prospects. And I appreciate that. That's what it's all about. So those of you that's on here, step over to H Money, Mr. The Zones, the Devin Haney podcast, man. Step over there and check out the interview. You know what I'm saying? Collaboration. It's all about support. You know what it is. But all of you all that stopped through, this shit ain't over. This ain't over. We're going to keep driving the motherfucking hill on there. All of you to come over here and say the same thing that, you're making up excuses. That sounds like the same people that I was debating with. I done been in so many freaking debates and kicked out of groups. But when you tell me I'm making excuses of Deontay Wilder, they're not excuses. It's fact. He wasn't 100%. That's fact. He wasn't 100%. Another fact is Deontay Wilder never test positive. He never been out the sport. He never been unified champion and been suspended. He's defended his title, unlike Tyson Fury, who never defended the title, period. Never defended the title. He never had the so-called manufactured roadway like Anthony Joshua, Charles Martin, 2 rounds, knockout, Vladimir Klitschko. Man, that was freaking a guy who was on a hiatus of retirement. They handpicked Klitschko to come back and fight. Come on, man. I'm out. I got to go next door. Salute to you. Thanks for stopping.